Alright, hey y'all. We are here with the family's new to us 2008 Suzuki XL7, and we've only had this thing for a couple months now, and I'll tell you, from a Suzuki, I expected a high-end. Yeah, I expected your typical out of a Japanese auto until I found out this thing was made in the GM Cami plant in our Ontario, alongside the Chevy Equinox and Pontiac Torrent. Let me tell you, I've had nothing but problems with this thing in the couple months that we've got it. And right now, what we've got is our HVAC mode selector switch. Think floor, front, or defrost vent selecting isn't working right. So let's run over here. This is the luxury model with the 3.6 liter V6. You can take a look right here. Number 2 pointing right there, that is our actuator. Okay, got an arrow in front of the vehicle. That's what we're tapping into right now. We're going to troubleshoot the actuator. I've done a little test already where I pulled the fuse for this HVAC for 10 seconds. Actually, I pulled it for about 2 minutes. Put it back in, power everything back on, and it's supposed to go through a self-calibration. This is all electronic, so you've got a motor with a shaft-mounted potentiometer that's giving feedback to the control circuit. That's supposed to let it know where home is and where its position is and how to do its business. And that didn't work. I even tried disconnecting the positive battery terminal for a while, negative, and letting it reset. I've got the negative disconnected right now, and I just got into this a little bit, and I thought I'd go ahead and do a short YouTube on this. Let me see. Okay, first thing I did was I peeled back this skin right here on the driver's side. Okay, and I popped a couple screws loose that hold this piece on. There'll be some screws under there, and down here on the opposite side, take a 7mm socket. This thing is going to come off like you're going to think you're breaking it. Okay, see these panel clips? You're going to think you're breaking this thing off. But I started over here on the far driver's side, and after I took those screws all the way out, I kind of pried back on this end a little bit, put a screwdriver in there, kind of wiggled on a little bit till I could get my fingers in there, and then I just yanked back with all my might. And I mean, it pretty well popped off from the left-hand side on over until it got to this very last one that you see right there. And it was a little bit of a pain, but I could get something back behind there and kind of pry it out. It really seemed like it was going to break. It really felt tough to get out, but it came out. So if you try this, just remember, it's going to be tough, but it'll come out. Alright, now what we're looking at is this piece right here. There'll be some cable up in here and a zip tie, and there'll be, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, there's a couple bolts up in there that are going to need taken loose. And then these two right here. Okay, I'm looking at it head on if the camera was sitting on the driver's side seat. And then if you can look back in there, you see that little box. See that screw right there on the right hand side of that box? That is my mode actuator. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off of there. Hopefully I got enough room to work. I'll try to take it off, disconnect it, inspect it. If I think it's alright, and I think that whatever it's driving for the door feels free, I'm going to plug it in but not screw it back in, and I'm going to fire this thing up, and I'm going to adjust the heater settings or let it do its calibration, whatever it takes to try to get motion out of the shaft. See if I got that motion. If I do, you know, then I'm looking like maybe doors are stuck or something's going on. Put it back in, see if it works. If I get no motion at all, I'm going to troubleshoot the actuator. I got to take a look at it and see what I got going on with it and determine whether the actuator is bad or whether I think the control module, which is mounted to the back of the HVAC controls over here, AC Delco. I can't tell you the part number off the back of my head, but it is an AC Delco HVAC control module that's back behind there. It's got all the 3 potentiometer selector shafts mounted to it. So that's what we're going to be getting to. Be taking that plate off. I might even take this one over here off. See those 2 bolts back there? We'll see how I can get to it. So let me get to that, and I'll get back with you. Alright, there it is. It ought to be a couple Phillips head screws. When I got this actuator off, and there were 3 screws. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Got it off and operated the door by hand. You can do it by the shaft, or you see that eccentric piece right there. You can operate it around by hand. And it was kind of stuck feeling, maybe more than the motor could take. It feels like it's a little some kind of little DC motor or a stepper motor by its operation. But anyway, I rotated the door around by hand a little bit and put it back where it was originally, plugged in the actuator, which is hanging right now for its harness, put the negative battery terminal back on, and fired it up, and adjusted the mode setting for the HVAC, and sure enough, it rotated the shaft of this thing just fine. You could feel some control in it. It was actually kind of a ramp up, ramp down kind of thing, where you could feel it kind of vibrate a little bit as it was feeling in its new position and giving feedback to the controller. So you knew it was working right, and it would start and stop solidly in its new position really easily. So I think our door was just stuck. So now I'm going to put it back on and see if the problem is gone, if it was just a stuck door. So there we go. Alright, here we are, back together with normal operation. I hope you can see this. I'm doing something that I should do with like 3 hands, but you know how it is. See it turn? It's rotating that white shaft there, like a UHMW or Delrin center shaft, and is rotating that door. See how that flat goes around? It's actually going counterclockwise now, back clockwise again. And that's what we want. So just a stuck door, pretty easy fix, you know? Be done in an hour really. So don't take it to the dealership for this if you still have a Suzuki dealership around. So, you know, just couldn't handle it. If it happens too many more times, I'll probably get another actuator, see if it can handle the power needed to break loose from a stuck position. So anyway, seems to be done. Installation is a reverse of disassembly, so we'll just put everything back the way we got it, and that's it. Over and out. 2008 Suzuki HVAC mode actuator, had a stuck door. So we're done.